Hello and welcome again to Steve's Long Shave Workshop, where sets come to a loot. Well, you know the idea. Anyway, this is from Akron in Ohio. It's the second radio I brought back. This one was not held up by an aeroplane, like the other one wasn't, but other things were. Anyway, this is a Mitsubishi set for America. So this set has gone from Japan to America to here, and the process doesn't seem to have carried on working. First of all, take the case out of the way because the case needs some work, as you can see there. And here's the radio itself. It's quite nice looking. I'll have to go inside it and do some work, obviously. But first of all, let's see if it does anything like working. Never know. It might not. Just the way these things tend to be. So first thing I do is look at what is what on here. Okay, yeah. So that goes on to there. So that goes on to that one, like that. This goes on to this one, like that. And it's had a crackle anyway, but not much else. So when this gets, please like hold on to that for me properly, I will know for sure. But okay, it's on. Right. And it does note. It doesn't do anything on either band, so straight away we know we've got a rather duff radio on our hands, which somebody's been in before again, because I can tell it because there's a screw missing here as well. So put it back off, have a look inside and find out what is going on with it. These sets, by the way, the Japanese American sets of this era, they tend to be rather interested in a few different ways. So we need to look and find out why. With this one being AM and FM, I think the first place we need to look is on the volume control. But I'm going to take this circuit board out and have a look underneath and make sure there's nothing really bad happened to it before we go any further, because sometimes they does tend to be. So let's get the thing out if we can and see what's happening underneath it. It doesn't look to have been ballasted in any way, which is good. This set, like I said, it has AM and FM, and now they're working, so I suspect the problem is on the output stage. So next thing we do at this point, therefore, is connect up these again. And rock that switch about and see if it does anything. It probably won't, but you know we have to check everything before we go any further, don't we? So or else we might miss something important. I think actually the problem is with the output stage, but let me get set up properly and we'll see about that. Also, I noticed the ferrite rod seems to have gone a little bit astray. If you look, you see there, it seems to have broken, which is a problem. We can sort that, but that is not really the the biggest of our worries. The biggest of our worries is the fact that it's doing absolutely nothing.
Going off the end of last season as well, it was disappointing.
Well, that suggests to me that things aren't as bad as we thought. I knocked the switch back and forth a few times, and that is radio. I think Radio 5 Live, or Sport. You know.
No disrespect to them, fantastic run to them at the weekend. They outplayed us, but they've got a championship squad. They've signed one.
And FM. I need to find an aerial for that, so we shall.
Sure, from the hierarchy of Villa.
Kind of 10 months in then, with quite a lot of money spent, do you know, can you see like what Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa might look like? Like, do you get a sense of where he's trying to go?
I think that's the problem, because the answer's no, really. I think at the weekend there didn't seem to be a plan. I think when you go 1-0 down inside 2 minutes.
Again, it's very quiet, quieter than it should be. Now, with sets of this age with these sort of problems, they are always capacitor related. Without fail, they would be capacitor related. This set was from the early 1960s, and capacitors on these do dry out. So what I'll do, without the circuit diagram, it's still possible to find out where and when. You see, the 8-put stages are here on the circuit, yeah? I'll show it up. You see, they're there, yeah? And this capacitor here is probably the first one that needs changing. But chances are a few other need to be as well. So, also there's this to sort out. Now, there isn't actually an aerial on this. There should be, but there isn't. It's gone. So I'll need to find out for the back here another small aerial for it as well, which again wouldn't be a problem because I've got something that will fit that. So this radio is, shall we say, a good prospect for restoration or repair or whatever term you wish to use. So yeah. So I think the first thing we'll do is look at the capacitors and find out which ones need to be changed. Probably because on all sets like this, there's a capacitor coming off the volume control to the output stages, and this is always low in value. It's always gone over time, and that is the one that causes most of the problems. Not all, but most. The capacitor on the volume control, which feeds the signal through to the output stage, have gone really, really low in value, and without it, the new one in, that's how late it is there. So now onto FM, and we'll see what FM is now like. That too should be a hell of a lot better. So we'll put this back on here. There we are, simple as that. So now I've got to sort out this which came off, which I don't like doing, but I had to in this case, to get down here, and possibly check the capacitors as well. With a set like this, when you're doing VHF alignments, oscillator alignments on medium wave or FM, It's very hard to know exactly what station's what, particularly in Britain. So what you do is is you find a station on the dial, on one of the dial, which you can find on another radio. I'm using radio 3 here because that's likely to get a copyright strike. But so that's radio 3, yeah. Now I know that my radio 3 is on the dial, and it's about that on here. So therefore we then go over here. There you are, radio 3 again. Okay. So now we go further up the dial, like that. Down to the top end of the dial. So I know what's on there. So we got the other radio. This is a run of the mill Grundy. Like that. It's an ordinary run of the mill radio that doesn't want to be on camera. Yeah, one of these, yeah. And tune that up the dial. And you will come to that station.
Voice check.
I buzz off it still, you know, telling me doing this. And if I didn't have this, then you would stay in and be depressed, and we can't have that. So.
And that is at 107.9. That's Tower FM. So therefore we know that the oscillator is working on this radio. The same on AM, which is easy because of course it's nowadays on AM a lot less stations about now, but that's basically how we do it. So next thing now, I've got the volume back up to scratch where it should be. I've got that cleaned up. I've got a placement aerial on order to go on here. That's gone. That so a placement is here. It goes on the back there. It should fit okay. If it doesn't, well, it doesn't. But the reason why it should, you know. So that's something else. So I'll sort that out when it comes. And of course now we've got to sort out the tuning dial, which of course I didn't manage to snap while I was soldering components around here. Capacitors around here, they were all interesting, so to say, but one in particular was particularly bad. I just swapped it out, and lo and behold, the radio came to life a lot better than it was. So it's now a happy radio in that respect. But now, of course, I've got to sort out the put that out of the way and take a look at this case, which is in a bit of a bad way. Now I do have some fabric glue. I might try that first of all because I'm not an expert sewer, you know, so I might actually do that first. So first thing I do is put this on the back here like that, 1 and 2 like that. Take off that label there with $9 not tested on. That's what it cost me, this one. By the way, a big shout out to the bomb shelter, by the way, where both these sets came from. Okay, so that goes out of the way. And so now, first thing we've got to do is sort out this here. And so what I will do is I will take that off there again like that, yeah, and put that like that, and hopefully a bit of glue and that might stay together. It's a cheap way of doing it, I know, but I'm not that good a solderer. I don't have the women's church fellowship sewing circle to go off, so I'm rather much on my own here, so I don't know how this will work, I really don't, but we'll try and see. So fabric glue, yeah, so off it goes from the top. This is fabric glue. Off comes the top. Please, come on. There we go. And so now we get some, if we can. Oh dear. Tell me it's done what lots of glues do, which is of course decide that it's glued itself together in the bottle. It shouldn't have done, but glue does that, so something which I have to be aware of. So I now hopefully put this across here like that. If it'll let me, which I don't think it will right now. I'll need to but try that. And I'll be back in a minute when I've sorted out this bottle. Things don't go well in here sometimes, do they? I got it in the end. What I've done here is I've got the things here held in place by batteries and soldered, so that will stay there overnight now. While I was looking around, actually, I came across the old capacitor that I took out, one of. I don't know what brand these are. Seems to be like an old brand, which is about right, because I don't know what capacitance it is now. I don't know what capacitance it is now, but that was 6 volts. It's surprising because it was a 9-volt radio. But what I put in is a 10 microfarad capacitor at 25 volts, which is about the same size, which is just short, doesn't it? Anyway, now of course we've got to look at the tuning dial, which means a trip down to Andy's. Right, well here it is, a working radio from Ohio. Came from Japan, went to America, now it's come over here. And after a few interesting faults, it's working rather well, as you can hear if I will switch it on.
We were going to be talking about for the rest of the show up until 10 o'clock, an absolute...
Now this radio has had a few faults, the main one being a capacitor on the volume control. Capacitor on these do fail, and the one on the volume control is one to go for first with anything that has low volume or virtually no volume, because it shoots up in ESR and it's like putting a resistor in series with it, and it puts the output right down. Also with this, by the way, the case, I managed to glue it together, and I've covered the glue with shoe polish, so it doesn't look too bad. So it works rather well. And so, I'll lean into camera here, this is Steve Pendlebury on the vintage long stay workshop with another patient that's come for a long stay and left working. Radios, of course, it's the way to live, fixing radios. Well, I believe that anyway. I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.